go. Hats off.
At least
Tiger's back, baby.
He is.
the wet bandits from Home Alone. Never mind Hank and Marv, Hep and Marv. Hopefully they can steal a few good for you this
Sticky
week.
bandits,
It's the Masters. It's probably the best 4 days golf of the year, especially if you're a casual fan.
Absolutely.
Marv, I'm sure you'll be on the settee for 4 days. Cheesy puff, residue, all over the place. Have you booked any time off? You really booked Monday morning off?
No time off. I suppose
Doesn't
because of
finish that late, does it?
probably because of
No.
that's it. The TV schedule and how it works is that it's I suppose it'll probably be however many hours each. Thursday evening, Friday evening, and then just as much at the weekend. As you say, it's the best 4 days of golf, best week of golf each year. Whether you're a casual, whether you're a golf nut, whatever, it's
You've followed the tournament for a long time. I'm like probably you. I started watching it with my dad on a Sunday night. Like he could stay past my bedtime. I fall asleep about 9 o'clock. Bastard. To somebody who isn't familiar with the Masters, what makes it so special?
Well, for me, more than any tournament, it's it's the same venue each year. It's the history behind it, the prestige. It's there's something about it that the Open Championship could be played at St Andrews every year, but it wouldn't be relevant compared to the Masters. Not that it's just the first major tournament each year, but I just think the setup and everything about it. I think it's probably unique throughout sport, to be honest, as an iconic event, in my opinion.
And when people talk about it's very hard for live golf to compete, right? It's the history, it's the heritage, it's the past winners, it's the you'll think about that chip by what hole was it? 15, 16 Tiger when he's had to play it and the little final drop of the night take. You think of
16. The chip in 2005.
You think of Bubba out the trees, Mickelson. That's probably why. We'll move on to that. It's like, is that why Scheffler is not when Scheffler won in? I want to say was it 2022?
Yes,
3 years ago. He kind of just got to the front and just he's a game. This he didn't have that sweat or didn't have the scare. You think of Willits win 2016. Jordan's did he make a 7 or he made an 8 at the par 3 12th? Even when Tiger won, we had Molinari in the drink and I think Brooks went in and Tiger's grinded out. There's that drama that you don't get out of the venues. And Hep, what are your memories of this? Because you're a latecomer to this. Classic Hep. Gets there after the cool kids first. What are your memories of the Masters, apart from obviously Tiger and Phil and the like?
Just good. The best winners, the best players win here. Like you got to go all the way back, quite a long way for.
Happy birthday, Sevi, by the way. Would have been 67.
Great age. But yeah, there's obviously that.
Dead.
Anyway,
there's just that ring of history about it, as Marv.
I've just picked out a drink from the bunker there. Class.
I don't know what else you can say about the Masters, really.
For me, I remember watching Dave.
Great little job
I'm
about
sure,
it.
again, I'm going back to maybe 1999, 2000. I was having my 10 peach ways at 20 to 1. I remember back in David Duval when he won at 20s, always with those stupid sunglasses. Always never cracked a smile.
I think what I'd add is that, yes, in England, in the UK, the Open Championship, is big. But I just think the Masters tournament, out of any of it, I know the Ryder Cup's a Ryder Cup, but as a golf tournament, as an individual golf tournament, the Masters, it hits the front pages. It transcends
the sport.
Golf, yes. While the other 3 majors just don't do that, and he said for various reasons.
But the exclusivity of Augusta, really, like you can't just go play there. Like you can go play St Andrews. You can go, which is great. Like on the other side, that you can go play these courses. That's fantastic. But you'll never get a ticket in your life to go even to watch Augusta. Never mind play there if you were good enough.
You see, some people would say or think that the same venue year after year it gets monotonous or but it isn't. It's like you come to that and you'll know not the name of the hole. You'll know what's next. It's the course in the back of your mind, and you think, well, you've never been there. It's just like it's just like unlike anything else.
Ed Quigley was going to be on with us tonight. He said like there are certain players who they turn up through Magnolia Lane, they can just smell the azaleas and I'm home. Especially when you think of there's an added impact. There's a few 3, 4, 5 I think Georgia Bulldogs guys who came through the local college system. If you listen to them speak, if you listen to like Kevin Kisner speak about what it means as a Georgia guy to be just there, let alone even in contention again. I back Kiz every year for about 10 years in a row. No, I don't think he ever played. I think he should have won there. Maybe was it the PGA? Maybe 2016, 2017. But never in contention. But it means a lot just to get an invite. And I was reading, I think Scottie Scheffler talked about how I think it was his sister. She invited him to come and play the par 3 tournament with him maybe 2, 3 years ago, and she was weeping, crying. So I mean, I don't think we probably get in the UK how much it means to get invited, old fashioned, like you've been written a letter, right? You are invited by the patrons of the Augusta National. And I remember Eddie Pepper put on Twitter, like, that's when you know you've made it as a golfer. Like, there are, world rankings is one thing. Okay, we won this and we've got this in the bank. You've been invited to come play the Masters. It's a lot to itself.
100%.
And we'll go on to this week's tournament where Scottie Scheffler, Marv, we've kind of like banged the Scheffler drum pretty much for what's this, episode 5? 4 weeks straight now. Scheffler 4-1 favourite. Steve Palmer's gone all in, more or less. He's balls deep on the big heading Texan, the world number 1. There was some burnt fingers around him a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know whose.
In the was it the Valspar? Sorry, the Texas Open in Houston.
I think of Sawgrass.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get up to Xander Schauffele later on, but 4-1. In Steve's piece he wrote, he's arguably a lot bigger than he should be. Do you think he's value at 4-1? Well, let's start. Well, whatever you say, Stato's got the trends to buck it up later.
Well, it's a funny one. I'll still always sit on the fence with Scheffler, just because as a golfer, he doesn't quite excite me enough. You know, he is monotonous now. I said it back in the day with Phil, with Tiger, there'd always be, even though he thought, look, the favourite or the leading into the final round, there was still that, you know, what is he going to do or what are they going to do? So I as a backing, I couldn't back him. Whether I think it's value, I don't. Maybe 7s, 8s. Yes. Nah, too short at the moment for me.
I mean, I'd go and say, as far as say, I don't think. I mean, obviously you back him at 7s, 8s. I think even if it was like 11-2, you think, okay, that's a bet. 4-1.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that there's that.
The only thing I think you could also add in there, maybe there's something to it, is that at the moment, if the PGA Tour is slightly weakened with, you know, live golfers not playing, has Scheffler's recent run against potentially weaker fields, you know, reduced his price. That because you're forgetting Brooks, you're forgetting the players like that. That, you know, Scheffler wouldn't come into it with as many wins or as top places. So I do think if the bookies are thinking, do you know what, like they did with Tiger, let's be honest, when Tiger played the Masters and he was favourite, he was always a horrendous price.
Sure, yeah. He wanted to have him as a winner.
Yeah, that's it. So that's my thought, is that I think, yeah, too short, as you say. If he'd make a profit for an each way bet, fine, but no, not the moment.
Most layers offering a fifth of the odds, an extra place to shop around. I think 8 places with 365, Sky Bet 10 places with Coral and Ladbrokes. Hep, you got the stats. So you were very ardent with your campaign that Scottie Scheffler is a better player now than Tiger Woods was in his peak due to the quality of the field. I'd argue he's been playing in worse fields, and he's playing in a stronger field this week. So 4-1, you're not going to go near it as well.
I mean, do you think he has 20% chance to win this tournament to break even? Probably not. Did I use my 25% boost on Bet365 and back him at 5-1? Yes, I did. So I guess I'm in. He's gonna be there on he's gonna be there on Sunday. He's not missing the cut. He's not.
But you're not a casual punter, just there trying to look for. I just want a bit of interest on a Sunday. You've got the stats to back it up.
But the best players win the Masters. Like
you got to make big putts to win the Masters.
The last 3 years, it's been Rahm, Scheffler, Decky, Johnson. Okay, there's 4 years. Then Woods. Like the best player. You don't get 100-1 shots winning here. You don't get.
I mean, Danny Willett might wave a magic wand at that one, but that was due to Jordan
was like
having a complete meltdown.
I agree with Hep. There's far more consistency in this out of any other major.
There's not a week for getting cute and trying to find. Oh, Denny McCarthy's 100-1. I'll back him. Like this is pick 2 or 3 good players, and hope you get lucky. But like, it just emphasizes as well, like having the 2 tours combined, like how strong golf is. I think I was counting earlier, and Homer is the 25th player on the odds board, and Hatton's like the 30th. I mean, that's such a good top 30, and golf is obviously
think Terrell was second
tearing
player.
itself apart, but it does make the majors a lot better.
To your point, Terrell was second I think he was second in the players last year. I think he was second in another major. Homer won in South Africa last year, right? He won in California. You can argue the depth of it when you get these big fields. I mean, does that make it more special with a tournament like the Masters? The fact that you've now got basically like a split tour, but the big tournaments are really big because
it definitely emphasizes the majors because there were obviously 4 special tournaments, but apart from Augusta and the Masters going back there, like the only difference was because we put a special emphasis on like the British Open. Like at the end of the day, it was just the same players.
It's the Open Championship. You're not American.
on a different course.
How dare you?
The British Open. Fucking yank.
Like it was just it was the same thing, but like having this element of the 2 tours competing and a bit of a rivalry, probably more in the media and in our own heads than was actually on the golf course. But I'm sure the PGA don't want Liv coming in and stealing a win, especially at the Masters.
I mean, from that, do you think the Liv players are overlooked? And at the same time, do you think would they be really? I don't say like battle hardened, like Marv, in horse racing terms. Like if you want a horse going to the Guineas, right? You want to see having a good prep run first. You don't think, oh, he's worked great on the gallops, like send him straight there. Like I know Aidan O'Brien's probably the one exception, but you want something to get the reps under his belt. These Liv golfers who played 3 or 4 times 3-day tournaments, do you think they are? And Sadiq Faldo did an interview today. He goes, like Jon Rahm, I don't think he's going to benefit from having this type of preparation. Whereas someone like a Scheffler, a McIlroy, Scheffler, right? They've played competitive tournaments 4 days, which are quite grueling. Sundays are, when you're in contention in big tournaments, like Xander said, it's mentally draining. Rahm's been playing in more or less like 54-hole exhibitions, right?
Yeah, I probably do think that it kind of is a bit dependent on the player. Some players will prefer that, week in, week out, hit form, take that form into the Masters. But some people prefer to, take the week off, be fresh. But I just go back to I don't know how Brooks does it, and he somehow peaks in the majors, and then he didn't do it last year. Suddenly just came out and I'm healthy now, and wins another major. But
this Liv argument was the same last year, and then you got Brooks come second, Mickelson. Okay, some Sunday magic.
And Mickelson finished second in the Masters last year.
The other thing we can say is it does help if you've got 100 million plus in your bank and not worried about, well, where do I place this week? Blah blah. I am set, and my family and my grandchildren's children. I don't know. Maybe I'm not saying all golfers, because compared to us, even an average golfer. But I think there's maybe a bit of weight lifted and maybe a bit of also like, okay, we'll show you going to Live, we can still play. But no, I don't believe that I've got any Live golfers in my selections.
You hate Live golf, that's why.
Where
you couldn't bring yourself to be cheering at Live golf.
It's like okay, we've mentioned Brooks, and without taking over Twig. Bryson DeChambeau, what, par 67? Take a hike, Bryson. You missed the cut the last 2 years.
Marv,
come on.
He was. This is 2018, right? I think maybe 2019. He was young. He was like a college jock, right? He was a different mentality. He speaks with a lot more. I mean, he came out and said, like, we need to bring the two tours together. Like, didn't you just fuck off for a big bag of money? And now you're saying, come on, can we work it out?
Now I want back.
It's like you've run off with a girl 20 years younger than the wife, and you've gone back to her saying, can we not work it out? Like,
I've watched a few videos on Bryson's YouTube channel, and yeah, he does come across, as an absolute decent guy.
I think he regrets it. I do think he regrets going to live.
Look, anybody, there you go. Here's a wad of money. It's, hard to turn down, isn't it? But no, I do believe that you do need to take some form into a major.
Bryson is a sea of blue on Oddschecker today, by the way.
So
very well backed.
I'm not keen just because of his if you're like Tiger, for example, he might not compete, but I would suspect he'll put a decent round in, first or second round, whether his health will get him through, but I think, some players can draw on the fact that the Masters they are so comfortable around there, even though if they've not, be playing regularly and in form, they can, they get back in there and their old game comes back. Maybe a bit like Mickelson last year, it's doable, but I do prefer in-form golfers that seem to be peaking.
Well, I mean, one of those you mentioned about they get there and it's like they're back at home, right? Jordan Spieth is, I can't think of a better player more suited and more acclimatized to Augusta. We were talking on Sunday about his unreal set of shots. Like I was having to explain to Hep what cocaine golf meant and how Spieth can be there. Spieth doesn't do things steady, right? He will get it into the trees, chip out 240 yards, leave himself a 30-yard pitch, he ends up holding it, making a 4. Like if you saw the shot he made, I think, was it 15, 16, 14? I think it was the first of the 2 par 5s in the back 9, right? And he got himself a look for par, and he still made a double bogey, having chipped it onto the roof and into the gutters and took a free drop. It's just Spieth was 4 or 5 years ago. He was 7-8 to 1 for this tournament. He's now, you can get 20 to 1 and 8 places. Would you be interested at all?
That's me. No.
Mav's talked enough.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, not going to Spieth with his.
What about? I'll give you another one because you've been a long time admirer of Joaquin Niemann. That's the argument I posed to Marv, right, about live golfers. I think has Niemann won twice? I've not really followed live golf, but I know
3 times. I think
he's won 3.
3 times.
Would you be interested in him or other live golfers based on the prep? I don't know who won in Miami.
Burmeister.
Big inside. See, the Vigan, right? Okay, he did well in those Mickey Mouse like sunshine event tours, like November, December. Didn't do anything on the DP World Tour. Wouldn't be for me.
Yeah,
hits it a mile, but no.
Niemann's tough because he's getting so much credit for.
It's blurry there, Hep.
Sorry. Niemann's getting so much credit for those 3 wins on live, and fair enough, like to win 3 times, but I'm not backing him at 25s. Like I don't think he should be lower than Wyndham Clark at 28s. But yeah, I'm not dodging live. Like Koepka, you've always got to fancy Koepka, especially around 20s. Rahm probably not 10s.
I mean, that's interesting. Like we've mentioned the tournament, right? We're 20 minutes in here. Jon Rahm's a defending champion. He's a world number 2, I want to say, unless I don't know. In my head, right, it's Scheffler, Rahm, McIlroy. And yet he feels like nobody's really mentioned him at all this week. Is that because of his defection?
I don't think he's won since the Masters. He's led 3 times on live since going there on the back 9 and gagged it away. Like, how much is he caring about live and like closing those out? But
We both know Rahm took the money thinking they're going to like reconcile, doesn't
right.
they?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because let's be honest, he was probably he was the last. There ain't going to be anybody else offering a big bag of money, and he thought it's now or never. I'm taking it, and nobody else is here.
I don't know. There may be some waiting until the Masters is over.
But not that size Hep. I expect that was how much did he get? Was it? I can't remember.
He was a reported 550 million over 3 years.
Yeah, that's.
But he also said that he waited until he's going to play the Masters every year for the next 30 years, right? Is he do the PGA champions get in as well? Am I right thinking that he won the PGA championship? You still see like Rich fucking Beam turn up every year, right?
Yeah. I think each tournament has their own. Like I think the PGA, if you win the PGA, you can go back and play it for forever. The Open, I think you can go back and play it forever until maybe 65. The US Open isn't. I think the US Open only gives you potentially 10 years for that tournament. The Masters, as you say, is lifetime. And I think if you win any major, you get into the other majors for the next 5 years at least. So, as you say, some live golfers have got it in the bank. So, they're going to be at the majors for the next few years, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Jon Rahm and live golf for the next few years. If we do a quick review of last week, go on, Hep, go on.
So I'd rather take Rahm than Rory at the same price. Definitely.
I mean, oh yeah, we've not mentioned Rory yet.
Do we need to?
Again, to use a Steve Ballmerism, it was the weight of the Grand Slam will be on Rory's shoulder as again this week. What do you make of him last week, Mal? Because he had that famous Saturday rally again.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't too interested in last week. But
I did actually watch the golf again this week, Twig. Do a golf podcast. Don't watch any golf.
Yeah, I did. I couldn't. That was just insane.
What were you doing all weekend?
I can't remember. Anyway, that run of McCarthy's, that was insane.
That was kind of praying he didn't win as well.
Oh,
I like Denny. He always talks like a really nice guy. Like he doesn't get really annoyed when he loses, and like to make those putts, like it wasn't the putts really because he's a great putter. It was his iron game. He was stiffing it to like 10 feet every hole. And he said that someone like he did the course walk, didn't he? And he said like, "What do you do when you miss a putt?" He goes, "Oh, there's not much you can do about it, is there? Just move on to the next hole." Like, great. I love the attitude.
Touche.
But the third shot of the first playoff hole was fucking Hep-esque, wasn't
it? Yeah.
How did you do on DraftKings this week?
Falls out. Well, yeah, it was 7th going into the back 9, and then ended up 200 to win a measly $50 when it would have been.
That's unreal. Yeah, that is like that game.
1,500, $2,000 at the start of the black 9. And then Rory Sunday was like 25% owned, and
if you were doing DraftKings this week, who would be the players you'd seek to avoid?
Oh, 1 second, I have to look at the prices.
Okay, I'll
pretend I've not been building.
I would just chip in that, as I said, a lot of players I think will be to win a DraftKings this week. Surely you have to take a few chances because even though a lot of players, cost form and some
There's
players
noise downstairs in the arena. Someone scored. It was Real or Man City.
Back to the golf.
I've got a stream. I'll tell you in a second.
Even though some players are pretty much guaranteed to finish in a top 10, I just think they're probably quite heavily weighted up at the top. So I still think there's going to be a case of having to find a few surprise packages. I suppose like any DraftKings.
Oh my God, City winning 3-2. Wow.
Oh, what a goal that was! Yeah, that third was a stunner.
To your point, Mam, you do have to take chances. So who would be those you're looking to take a chance on? Give us your.
I would
before you do that, recap last week. Who did we all put up?
I think I put up Ricky Fowler.
How did Ricky do?
Did he miss a cup?
Have you put up anyone that's actually played the weekend?
Yeah,
no.
Matt Kuchar. That's
it. I think it's. I don't think my selections have ever been this bad in life.
Well, I mean, I'll go off on a tangent another time, perhaps, but not
I wish
today.
Bet365 you can offer odds on them to make the cut or
not. I think I put it Russell Henley, right? 4.5 points each way.
Who do you put up?
50 to 1. Another quarter of the odds first 5. That's another 10 points profit bank for Twig. Not 40 points even, in it?
Another.
I put up Scheffler, didn't I? Like 10-point win or whatever it was. And the players.
Oh yeah, I think.
Yeah. So I'll work it out at some stage, just to kind of like my own ego boost.
So what you're saying is the podcast in general overall is up. So we're doing well.
Yeah, it's a bit like, you remember we used to go playing those poker games at 18, and it'd be like, Twig, we're sharing, yeah. If you win, we get a breakfast.
I'll take a free breakfast.
Oh, don't worry, Twig. You get one if I win. Yeah, that's not going to win it. I mean, I'm sorry. As much as a cookie with a tournament down here.
I cashed once.
Cook, you falling king queen here. Yeah, no feel. Nah, I just don't feel it today, Twig. Look, yeah, just focus. Yeah, no. He looked a bit funny to the jack. Can't have him.
And he's moving in with something random off suit, just on a complete wild bluff.
Feel, Twig. Yeah,
I thought he had
we were talking about a few weeks ago how I was half asleep. He managed to get my Poker Heaven password and lost 50 cents.
Was it Poker Heaven or William Hill? I don't know why I thought it was William Hill.
It was one of the two. I can't remember. It was $10 buy-ins and he lost 33 straight buy-ins. Pretty bad, Twig. How? I'm starting a window cleaning round next week. Right, okay, no problem, pal. My God.
I don't think you saw him for 6 months after that, did you?
He became a Jehovah's Witness, didn't he?
Yeah, did you ever get that money back?
Probably not. But he was entertaining. Anyway, from last week's results aside, Marv, I'll let you lead because you're due a winner. You've got 10 points to play with.
Yeah, I'll start with my lay. Shall we?
I didn't have a lay.
It's obvious.
Come on, you can make the cut.
It's not even worked. That should say lay. Lay McIlroy. It was a sign. Rory McIlroy. I think I'm laying in to miss a cut. If you look at his last 3 tournaments, missed the cut, second missed the cut. He's just so erratic.
Second cut, second missed the cut.
He'll probably get to him. The
Hasn't
moment,
he like 6 top 10s at the Masters in 8 starts.
Well, that's it. It's all or nothing, isn't it, with him? To a point. So I'm firmly against McIlroy for the lay, but I think we probably all are in some way. So my actual selections, I'm starting with, where is he in the list? Okay, I am going with Sahith Theegala as my main selection. So looking over the last few years of the winners, I found a statistic that, we all know that the par fives are where you make your score. But funnily enough, I think I think it's the par threes that are also very important, that you don't drop shots. 100%. Rahm last year, he won at 12 under. He was 10 under for the par fives and 1 over for the par threes. Hideki in 21, won at 10 under. He's actually 11 under for the par fives and 1 over for the par threes. A funny statistic actually is that Tiger in 2019, when he won at 13 under, he was only 5 under for the par fives. It was maybe a sign of how far he could hit the ball. He was 4 under for the par threes.
He's amazing that 2 iron week, wasn't it, that week?
I haven't gone back to look any further than 2018, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was probably the lowest that a winner has ever shot on the par threes in the modern era, at least. So based on it, you need distance. I think the par threes are key, and obviously trusting a little bit of course form. I think it's the guy who's only second Masters after last year, but he finished 9th last year, so he's my main pick at 45 to 1. And my second, a little bit further down, I'm going to throw in Sun Jae-im. It's got a little bit of form up. Yeah, a little bit of form up. A tied 16th and a tied 8th. I really wanted to go with Zalatoris, but I just think he's probably too short. So I thought I'd throw in a slightly bigger price for my second selection.
Honestly, they're having an absolute shocker, by the way. But a town going down this year, Hep.
It looks like it.
4-1 at Preston.
We've got two home games against Swansea and someone else that are winnable, and we're going to have to win. Well, we're going to have to get 4 points.
It's actually Preston versus Huddersfield when now she told me to lump on Bitcoin 5 years ago, and I told him he was an idiot. So, Marv, you're to Tigala. Why Sung Jae In?
I said I'll be honest. I really did want to go with Zalatoris. Zalatoris fitted.
Then why have you put him up?
I just said he's too short.
I got free if you want.
I gotta find the listeners. However many listeners we have, something of a price. So yeah, Zalatoris was on the list. Even to be honest, I think Tom Kim was a possible to throw in there.
He's picking agents.
Well, and even Corey Connors, but I ended up going Sun Jae-im is a second.
I'm sorry. Corey Connors, right, Marv? You know this. You need to have a shot.
No, but that's the thing. Those bigger Corey Connors at 70s, Sun Jae-im at 80s, Tom Kim at 100s. I'm not looking for them to win. I'm just looking at them for getting to a place. So I'm thinking the Gala's if I'm going with one is more of a win, one more of a can he sneak a place at a decent price. So I split it instead of going 2 for the win. If that makes sense.
What's your staking selections? Put the price up on the stake so I can type this up.
Yeah, so the Gala probably go with 3 points each way and 2 points each way. Sun Jae-im.
How hard is it? Prices and staking. Like, oh my God, this should get worse.
I'll just bring up the price. I think unless it's moved from a couple of days ago.
You said you were doing prep earlier.
Yeah, I took the prices down 2 days ago. So he's sticking with at least 8 places. The Gala 40s. So I'll tell you what, I'll go 3.5 each way, 3.5 points each way. The Gala at 40s with Bet365. And if I done a list, and then Sun Jae-im with the same firm is 100-1. So I'll go 1.5 points each way.
Which means if you put 1.5 points each way on Sun Jae-im at say 100-1, you lose 3 points for the week.
Yeah, lump on him to miss the cut.
Heppel, Stato, give us your 10 points for the week, please. I'm sure you've been beavering away on strokes gained, approach from
175 yards in.
Who's best with a 4-iron at 9 o'clock at night?
Just like, so I think me and you, Twig, are both on Decky earlier in the week, but I can't back him at 16s on 365 now. So going with current prices, going to go for Wyndham Clark and Ludwig Aberg, 2 debutants. But I think have
debutants don't win.
When was the last debutant to win?
Fuzzy Zeller in 1950 or whatever.
19 what?
Either 70 or 50. One of those. It was a long time ago.
It's 1970 or 17.
70. It was either 50 or something.
It's still half a century ago.
Yeah, but records are meant to be broken.
Yeah, Marv's meant to make a cut at some point.
He's going to lose 20 stone this year. Yeah, Fuzzy Zeller was 1979, so it's 55 years ago.
Well, it's due.
45 years ago.
But, Wyndham Clark, US Open champion, Ludwig Aberg, awesome.
That's not a description.
Champion of nothing. But yeah, current prices. I think those two ahead of DeChambeau, I think would have been.
But that's it. What have you got, Hep? Are they about 25? This is the latest price I saw. Does that feel a little bit short?
Ludwig's 25s, Clark 28s.
It's too short for his first year. You can't.
I don't like anyone else there. Like
you like Bryson.
They are 9th. Is it 9th and 10th in the betting?
I had a fund on Bryson one year.
Cameron Young, 45-1. Isn't he one of your boys?
Remember that year Bryson hit it in the rough and they couldn't find his ball, even though he didn't even go in the trees. It was just in the rough. It was the COVID.
He was at the second, I think, on the Saturday.
Yeah,
and then he completely capitulated.
Fund on him that year. So
I was on him at 100-1 that year.
Yeah, that's when the fund was being built. I thought it was going to be a very rich man when Beefcake Bryson was going to.
I remember, did he have like 8-10 bags or something stupid, wasn't it?
For the win, yeah. That wasn't the fund. That was the payoff. But no, I'm going to stick with Clark and Aberg. You can't talk me out of it.
The one thing
2.5 points each way on both of them.
The only thing, the other thing I was going to add there is, I'll be honest, I somewhat struggled with, a lot of players that have got the past form around here, the big names with past form, thinking really, so maybe going with a player that's not, a big name that's actually not played around, might be the way to go ahead. It really, you know what I mean? Because I said none of the other big players stood out to me, but I just
I'll give you two. I might still be Xander Schauffele. I mean, 16-1 with ball spots. I still think that's a little bit skinny. And Hideki's 18s.
Okay, now.
But
skinny's a rake twig.
Xander should have won a couple of times here. He should have won the play. Let's be honest. He should have won the players. He bogeyed 14-15. I think 16 to par 5, and I think he birdied that. Missed a 5 foot of a par, 5 foot of a birdie at 17. But I think that'll stand him in good stead. He's played really well. He was in contention when Tiger won in 2019. I think he finished tied third. He's finished.
I think he came second to Decky as well.
Yeah, he's finished in the top 5 twice in the last 5-6 years, which is no mean feat. Likewise, Hideki's finished. I think he's finished inside the top 20 all but once in the last 10 years, which is ridiculous stat. He played really well last week.
Xander gets mocked for all these close finishes in majors, never not being able to actually win it. But when he wins one, and then he's got 5 other top 2, top 3 finishes, his record will look so good when he eventually wins, and the script will just flip. He'll go from this gagger that can't win to wow, his record is one of the best of this generation. Just by winning one major at some point.
Yeah, and when he has finished, it's not like he's been 4 shots in front. He's not done like an Adam Scott, you know what I mean, from 2012, and he's 5 shots clear and suddenly loses by 2. He's kind of been chasing, and has just taken probably 1 chance too many. What year was it? Was it Patrick Reed? And Xander went in the drink at 16. When he was, I think he got to 1 behind. I think he got up and down for bogey, but kind of all momentum he had. That's when Spieth and Reed were going toe for toe, right? So maybe 2018. He plays well around here, and he's got the iron game, he's got the short game, and I think he's kind of I'm not saying there'll be no pressure, but due to the names around him, there's no expectation around him, because if he has that moniker of he's not going to win anyway, he's going to be there or thereabouts. Scottie Scheffler is the best player in the world. Jon Rahm's a defending champion. Rory's going for a Grand Slam. Brooks won 2 last year. Hideki's, he's the star of Japan. They'll be pressed for him in every way. He's a 2020 winner. Spieth is the darling of Augusta. That's the top 8 in the betting. And then you've got Xander in there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
2 points each way Xander, 2 points each way Decker.
I do agree. That's probably why I struggled with a lot of the other big names, Twig. You just don't feel right for most of them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, a lot of them are short on name value. I think a lot of the bookmakers kind of copy each other, and I think a lot of them don't really like to have an opinion. I'm surprised Victor Hovland's as big as he is. He's 33, so Unibet 7 places. He could be a forgotten man if he rediscovers the form he showed just 7-8 months ago. Likewise, Cameron Smith, he's an Open champion. He's 40-1. That's probably too big. I know he had a stomach upset last week and he just pulled out of Live Golf. Let's be honest, I think that's like phoning in sick on one of the last days of term. I don't think he's a share. He still gets paid.
Guaranteed paycheck.
I'm in Miami for a week. I'm going to go surfing. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, screw the team.
And you'd ask,
yeah.
But you mentioned some of these kind of forgotten players from Live Golf. Bryson 33s, Cam Smith 40-1, Dustin Johnson 40-1. If they were playing on the PGA Tour, they'd probably be half that price. All 3 of them.
Yeah, I wish I had some stats on Dustin, because that price is.
I mean, you wish you had some stats. I mean, you've got one job on this podcast.
Yeah, but Liv don't give you stats, so it's difficult. But yeah, that whole range, Cantley, he hasn't played since Genesis, I don't think. been pretty out of form.
I couldn't backhand it at any price. I don't like him. He's miserable. He's boring.
Yeah. That whole range of Hovland, Cantley, DeChambeau, Smith, Johnson,
Marv,
Thomas.
you mentioned
JT's 35s.
Marv mentioned Will Zalatoris. Marv, he's 45 to 1. Paddy Power 10 places.
I know. I just wonder with his recent form, coming back from injury. I think I picked him a few weeks ago. Did he miss a cut? So once bitten sort of thing. Maybe
one of your picks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From the domestic side of things, what do you think of if you look at the Team Europe Ryder Cup players, Fitzpatrick 30 to 1, Lowry 35 to 1, and Tommy Fleetwood 35 to 1, more or less. Would they have any? And Tyrrell Hatton 66 to 1. Would they have any interest?
I know I said last week that Fitzpatrick probably can't ever win a Masters because of his length, but the last 2 years
he's added a lot of length.
But I think he did finish tied 10th, tied 14th the last 2 years. So I don't know. I just think the statistic of English golfers at the Masters. I also throw that in there was Willett in 16. Obviously, then you have to go back to Faldo. I don't think anybody. So yeah, I say two. There's just two. Well, who's won? So I wouldn't be absolutely no surprise if Fitzpatrick sneaks in top 10 and top 5. But I do. I want to say he won his US Open. I don't think Scheffler bottled it, or Fitzpatrick went and won it.
Miracle second shot, didn't he, from the bunker?
Yeah, fair play to Fitzpatrick. He went and won it, but he could easily place, but I don't think he's really going to threaten to win, if I'm honest. And I don't really like any of the others.
If you had to put something up at 3 figures, is there anything that you'd? There you go. Like we do a thing with Dave Massey, right, where he's got to do a win each way and lay. Your win, obviously, bet you've already said would be. What did you say?
Thigala.
I was paying attention.
Thigala.
Who did you put up?
Sahith Thigala.
No, fuck him. He's not going to win. He's not going to be holding that green jacket on Sundays. Come on. Give us something at a price. 3 figures.
Well, Sungjae Im is 100s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sungjae's not going to win. Give us something.
But I'll throw in. I'll throw in Nick Taylor.
Ooh,
175s. You wanted a bigger price.
He's been played awesome.
And if I touch him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't great at the Valspar, but apart from that, he's been really good. But none of these are going to win, the hundreds.
So wait a minute, one second. Mars put up Nick Taylor without giving quickly search for a stat on him.
Yeah.
3-0, by the way, Real Madrid, Man City.
Yeah, what a game.
Did Harry Kane score? He did score at,
of course he did.
At Arsenal. Of course he did.
He's got the second.
Yeah, there isn't really anything to say about.
So what do you know about Nick Taylor, Mav? What's the best facet of his game?
I don't know. He did finish tied 29th in 2020.
So I want to pick this guy. I'll tell you what. Here's my pin.
That isn't picking anybody in that price range. Isn't pretty much.
I'll say Chris Kirk played the Masters for the first time in 10 years last year. Finished tied 19th. Another Georgia Bulldog, great with his irons. Isn't particularly long, but doesn't necessarily try to play out of his comfort zone from a length perspective. If you can get 175 to 1 in 8 places, I wouldn't put you off Chris Kirk. I've been a fan of him for a long time, and I think he will be very much what you said earlier about people being comfortable there. He goes there with the nerves shaken off from last year. Chris Kirk 175 to 1. He'll be. That's a good price.
I think he's going to be in a lot of DraftKings teams for me.
Yeah. The ones you'll be putting on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
What do you reckon to some look at the price of some former winners? So we mentioned Patrick Reed is 66 to 1. Lefty himself, Mickelson 200 to 1 with Bet365. Finished second last year.
Mickelson or Woods head to head.
I mean, both are going to miss the cut, aren't they?
Do you take Mickelson just because he's more likely to last.
I think if you're looking for points, if you're looking from a DraftKings perspective, you probably pick Mickelson because he's going to make more birdies. I think he makes more mistakes. Tiger probably plods along and tries to look at play in like 2 under. And 2 under at level par, he made six birdies over the 2 days.
The other big price I'd throw out is I'd probably throw out maybe Keegan Bradley. I think he's 175s with Sky
I like
Bet.
Keegan.
He won last year, didn't he? And he's not got a bad record around the Masters. I don't think he's got a top 10, but top 20 or top 25. So that'd be another. But I think those type of, he could easily have a great week. He could easily just miss a cut. I haven't got any strong opinions on any really.
What I've actually backed is Taylor Moore at 250s.
You love Taylor Moore, don't you?
I think 2 weeks ago at Houston, it was a really good course, like match to Augusta. You've got to hit it high. You've got to keep the ball on the green. There's a lot of runoffs, and he came T5 maybe. Could have had a chance to win it when Jaeger beat Scheffler by a shot. Could easily have won it on the last day, but 250 to 1. I've backed Taylor Moore, and I think also Harris English has been playing really well at 125s. He's never going to win it, but could sneak a top 8, and I guess that's what we're trying to do at this.
I love Harris English to watch this podcast and go, "Who the fuck is this Hep? I'm never going to win the Masters."
Everyone else is saying, "Who the fuck's Harris English?" But
whenever Pale when I think it was Judd Trump was getting beat by Ding Junhui when he first came through 2010. What the fuck is this Ding Junhui?
I remember there was
I've got a Judd Trump.
Remember there was Dominic Dale.
Fuck is Dominic Dale?
I think that's when was Ronnie playing him in a big tournament in an early round or something.
Yeah, Ronnie's just there looking like this.
Create a player.
See, could you even fancy maybe, I don't know, even throw out a Sepp Straka as a big price?
What, just because Steve Palmer's put him?
No, I just think he's that kind of.
He's a big hitter. He's
exactly.
He's in the Ryder Cup.
Whether does it give you a bit of a Angel Cabrera type? That's it, big guy, big hitter.
Because
he's 80 on paddies, 175s on Bet365. Like, I think paddies. What are you? Someone is lumped on paddies.
I think Augusta Modern. I mean, I said to him, someone like a Colin Morikawa. People forget he's still 27. He's only ever played in 8 majors. He's won 2 of them.
No form though. We were going through the stats earlier this week, weren't we?
But I mean, and the problem is with him is that, forgive me, Marv, you've got to play it right to left a lot of shots around here.
As a right-handed golfer, you're playing a draw,
and he refuses to hit a draw shot,
and it helps. 100% helps. Like and to be honest, I think Hep comes back to the best players or the better players win this tournament is because that you have to be somewhat creative and shape your shots. That's it. And ideally it plays into McIlroy's shot shape, but I just don't think he's got the whole certain like for example 12. I watched a brief video about the 12th hole and how it's horrendous for right-handers because of the way that that you have to play a slight fade round and how that opens up sort of the area that your ball can land in. I just think it's not. It works for drawers for right-handed players, but I think you still got to move it like Bubba Watson. No wonder Bubba won twice. Bubba could hit it, 50 yards left, 50 yards right on a hook or a slice. Oh, exactly. Probably the most creative golfer of the last 20 years outside of Mickelson, maybe you'd have to think. So
2 more previous winners we haven't mentioned, and then we'll finish off. Adam Scott, 80 to 1. Sergio Garcia, whom I'm a big fan of, 110 to 1. No interest, course form.
He's playing well on live, but
Sergio, did Sergio win last week, or did he lose?
His second, he lost in the playoff on a long Doral course, as we mentioned last week. So,
and Sergio probably has that creative flair in his locker, right? He's got a good short game. The shot at 16 just to get into the playoff eventually. I think he birdied 16 against Rose, right? In 18. I think Fowler was tied to that. Yeah, wait a minute, man. If you put up Ricky Fowler last week, he's double the price this week.
That's because how bad it was last week.
Right, so that's in blacklisted, right?
I don't know. I think with Garcia, look again.
That was his one major, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at that, he won in 17, and he's not had a top 10 since. You know, but then if you before that, he was scattered all around top 10. So
there's a weird sense of recency bias. Like I'm a big fan of Russell Henley. I thought he played really well last week. He scrambled very well. He made a lot of good pars when in contention, but like he's 55. Like you look at like a 365 or a Sky Bet, William Hill, most big bookmakers a 55-1 him, where Batia, who beat him by what 6 shots, he's 80-1, and even like Denny McCarthy like 100-1 this week. Should Russell Henley be shorter? Do they presume his game will suit here? Barry, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Russell Henley, he was in the, I think he was in that class of players from 2012. He's a bit like, I always see him a bit like a Spieth type of player, just a lesser version, obviously. What's wrong, pizza delivery guy here?
Oh, I had to piss. I was holding it in.
See, looking at it's Russell Henley did have a tied 4th last year.
I like Henley. He's probably just too short.
How old would you say Henley is?
I think he's about 32.
27.
He's 34. Oh. Does that sound quite older than maybe? I know he said 32, but I don't know why. I thought
he was in that class of players that came through in 2012. That's 12 years ago.
Interesting statistic. You'll never guess his middle name. Absolutely never guess his middle name.
Maverick.
No,
Russell.
It's a crazy. It's Chaplin.
Anyway, I wish I had a. I wish I had a Charlie Chaplin film I could make.
That's what I mean.
Can I give one more shout out?
I will. I'll give one more. I'm always against Eric Van Rooyen. Don't like Eric.
I mean, he was playing really well like a couple of months ago, hasn't it? But I can't really think of what he's done over the last month.
But I'd just be Charles Schwartz has got a great record around here, former winner. He won it in. He won it in 2011. I was putting it with Pell in those days. I think I had 25 each way on Schwartz at 16s from the old Coral desk. Schwartz will 2-1 to be top South African this week. Is he's only I wouldn't have a Van Rooyen. Christo Lamprecht is the big 6'10" guy, right? Am I getting that right?
Oh yeah, I saw him at the Open last year. He fucking hits it.
He's 4-1 with 888 to be top Safa. That wouldn't be too bad a bet.
He was the guy that was he leading the Open after round?
I think he's leading after definitely 1. Yeah, I don't know about 2.
I stood next to one of his drives on one of the days I was there, and it made a sound like nobody else. He fucking hit that thing. It was insane.
He beat it like a redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
Any other like niche markets again? Someone like
I really like Ashke. You know, obviously like you're thinking he won last week, that's why you like him. But lefties always do good here.
Yeah.
He has that sort of creativity that you need, like the Bubba you were saying, or the Spieth. To be top lefty, he's 2-1. He's just got to beat Brian Harman. And Nick Mickelson is third favorite.
Well, Mike Weir. Put some respect on the
sorry.
Captain's
Mike Weir's 40-1 if you want to go top lefty Mike Weir.
I got an interesting statistic on Mike Weir, but we'll come back to it in a moment if you want.
But yeah, I like Batia in a lot of market. I mean, he did dislocate his shoulder doing the fist pump on the 18th, which is an absolute joke.
I'll be back in.
But yeah, obviously, Marv, you were texting about how much of a rake he is. But yeah, if you dislocate your shoulder,
well, I swear, come on, just
still dripping wet.
I thought he went to get his, what was it, shoulder retaped, but he 30 seconds later he seemed to be hitting his next shot.
Imagine going for a
protein dislocated doing a fist pump. Come on, fucking get some muscles, But he hits it longer than I'll ever hit it.
Well, that's fair
play to the guy.
True. The interesting stat. I'll go on, Hep, sorry.
No, I was good. I'm not going to say anything. You go, Marv.
No, saying on Mike Weir, I did find that because obviously if you look through the history of the winners, you think Mike Weir. I think how the hell did he win in 2003? Short hitter and kind of a plodder. but he has the record for the lowest amount of putts for a winner. In I think 104. Yeah, and I assume, he's probably the lowest out of anybody. I suppose you probably can't not win and still have the lowest putts, but yeah, that's his 1 week, wasn't it? It was his, and again, that could happen for some, crazy long shot, but very unlikely.
Very unlikely. Just summarise before we finish up. If you want a couple more darts, first round leader market's always quite lively, and someone like a Spieth at 25s or a DeChambeau 35s are probably something where you could get reeled in.
Well, just coming on to that, I think we've known for quite a few years that you need to start hot at the Masters, and the winner. You can't come from behind.
You said for years now. People aren't making like 63s on moving day, are they?
No, you don't. And yeah, it's just not. I think the winner in the last however many years, decades maybe, the winner comes from the last two groupings nearly every time.
You've got to be within 4 shots of the lead, right?
It's something crazy. And I think even after the first round, you look at the last few years, either tied, leading, tied third. I think that's it. You have to start well. Because the way they set the course up is the course gets harder, usually, barring weather, but usually round after round, increasingly harder. And I think that partly comes back to the how we love it so much is we come to the fourth round, final round, and you know where the pins are going to be, and it just sets up beautifully. But yeah, and I think that's potentially why when Tiger won in 2019, that the strange coincidence that a way it worked out that the final round, if it was if they played in twos, Tiger wouldn't have been in the final group, because of the weather. They had to tee it earlier. Without in threes, Tiger was in the final group. I think also with his health that year, playing in threes and they playing earlier, the final round because of the weather, he teed off much earlier. So I do think it all came together. But yeah, I think you have to start fast. If you don't start fast, you ain't winning. That's that. Yeah.
Don't start fast right away. Marv, just clarify your picks again, and we'll write it up and put a little fancy link out. Prices, stakes, players.
Yeah. So my main bet is Sahith Theegala, 3.5 points each way, generally 40s for 8 places, and second bet is Sunjay Im. He's 100, 1.5 points each way.
You can tell he doesn't rely on tipping to make a living, can you? God love him. The accountant there rather than the marketeer. Heppel, give me your 10 points and your lay.
The lay, I didn't think.
The lay's McIlroy. The lay's McIlroy. We all lay McIlroy.
So 2 debutants for the win, 2.5 points each way on each. Wyndham Clark and Aberg. And we're going to stop hearing about Fuzzy Zeller in 1979, finally. The lay will be...
I tell you what, I might throw out McIlroy and Koepka to both miss the cut. That might be my better lay.
McIlroy and Hep.
McIlroy and Koepka.
McIlroy and Hep to miss the cut. Hep, you are ever missing the cut like this.
Be lucky if I'd shoot 150.
Yeah, how many lost balls? Yeah. Hep, what's your lay? You never said.
No, you didn't. You didn't ask me. My lay is gonna be.
Got mother-in-law wants to go to bed here. Hep. Wrap it up when you can. Jesus.
That pizza that's just arriving.
My biggest lay is anchovies.
Victor Hovland.
You don't like Victor Hovland. I don't get it.
He's not in form.
He's just been once he got the bag.
Yeah.
Coming back anyway, I'll put up my 2 with 3 points each way on Hideki. 18s, 2 points each way. Wait, it's Xander who's 18, 16s, 18s, Schauffele and Hideki, the course form specialist. And my lay will be Jon Rahm, just purely because if you listen to Scheffler, it's hard work being the tournament host and picking the dinner and doing the hosting. I think Scheffler finished tied 19th last year, and he says, "Look, just glad to get it out of the way because that was tough." So Rahm, given the fact he doesn't seem like a friendly, personal guy, he's gonna hate doing all this stuff this week.
Well, maybe he doesn't care about doing it. Just tell him to fuck off. That's a good menu. I'll be fair.
It's a nice menu. You'd love the menu.
Oh, and the menu got slated in America because
they're Americans.
Tapas.
Americans vote for Trump. I mean,
yeah. Like, Scheffler's was just burgers or whatever. They're like, oh, that's a great.
Give me those sliders, baby. I'm not talking about the Shane Warne version. Anyway, those are our selections. What are yours? Write in the comments below, and you can follow us at Mainly Golf on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm getting
like subscribe
people next door. Like, subscribe, share, and we will all see you next week. The best.
Please share. Please like.
In Hideki Matsuyama being a second-time Green Jacket winner. Bye from me.
Go on, Decky.
Ta-ra.